Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Just wanted to jump outside for this video because it is such a beautiful day, and considering a week ago it snowed 4 inches, this is fantastic. So yeah, I want to talk to you guys from outside tonight, this afternoon. All right, so yesterday we talked about John 15, to abide, not strive. And today we're going to continue on in John, talking about the last 24 hours of Jesus' life. And specifically, we are going to talk about his arrest and betrayal tonight. So we're going to continue talking from John. So if you guys want to open with me to John chapter 18, verses 1 through 10 and 1 through 11. We will jump into this passage. So at this time, if you guys want to press pause on this video and read the passage, that'd be great. So we talked a little bit yesterday about how John 15 was the start of this little mini sermon that Jesus was giving to his disciples. It was his last message to them. And then this scene actually comes right after that message ends. Yeah, so we see from the other gospels that Jesus retreats away. He takes a few of the disciples away with him, the main three, so to speak. And then from there, he leaves them to pray, and then he goes and prays. And there's this big scene with the disciples in that. But John skips over that scene. So we won't talk about it, and we're just going to continue on with what John talks about. So because of that, let's jump into chapter 18 and talk about it. So the first 3 verses of this chapter are just kind of setting up what Judas is doing, how he knew where Jesus was, and kind of who he's bringing with him to arrest Jesus. So let's go to verse 4. Verse 4 talks about how Jesus knew what was going to happen. He knew what they were there for. So he steps forth to meet them and says, "Who are you looking for?" Who didn't know who Jesus was. The soldiers didn't know. They just didn't know. Said, "We're looking for Jesus of Nazareth." And his response is, "I am he," which doesn't seem abnormal for us, I guess. What's wrong with saying that way? Why is there a reaction? Verse 6, Jesus said, "I am he." They all drew back and fell to the ground. So I want to explain this a little bit. What it is back in the Old Testament, one of the names of God, one of the names that he actually first gave Abraham, and he actually gave Moses when he went back into Egypt, was, "I am who I am." And that name, that actually became God's name. He was the I am. So when Jesus is saying, "I am," he is claiming divinity. He is saying, "I am God. I am who you say, I am who you want, but I am God." So that's why you see this reaction. That's why the soldiers fall on the ground. It's because they're literally being knocked over by the Spirit, by the presence of God, by the declaration of Jesus. It's literally knocking them back. And then Jesus asks again, "Who are you looking for?" Like no nonchalant, like nothing happened. "Hey, who are you looking for?" And again, they reply, "Jesus of Nazareth." And this time he says it again, and they don't fall back, but he then says, "Since I am the one you want, let the others go." And it was, it's this amazing thing where like he could have kept doing it, right? Like he didn't have to be taken. That power, like he never needed to be taken. He had complete authority, but he gave himself up. He gave himself up in such a way that his disciples were even safe, that his disciples didn't get in trouble, they didn't get taken. I think it's this beautiful picture of who Jesus is, that he had the authority and the ability to get himself out of there. He didn't need to be arrested. He didn't need to go to the cross. Like he had the ability to get himself out of there. We actually see it in the Gospels. He could have walked through crowds without them noticing. So Jesus could have got out of this situation, but he chose not to. He chose to give himself up and be taken by the soldiers. And he did it for us. He did it because he knew he was supposed to go to the cross to die for our sins, but it was also so that, you know, he could save his disciples from being arrested as well. And then this passage ends really Peter-like. Peter, who again, you know, said he was never going to deny Jesus. He was in it to the end. He was willing to fight to the very end. Does this in verse 10. Then Simon Peter drew a sword and slashed off the right ear of Malchus, the high priest's slave. But Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword back in its sheath. Shall I not drink from the cup of suffering the Father has given to me?" And here we see Peter willing to fight to the death, willing to fight to get Jesus out of the situation. They had one sword between them, and there was a bunch of soldiers. There was no way they were getting out, but he was going to go to the end. He was going to fight for Jesus. And then we see Jesus' response like, no, Peter, don't do this. Don't do this. I'm supposed to go through with this. I'm supposed to be arrested. Everything that's about to happen is supposed to happen. And it's actually a good thing for you. Jesus had every opportunity to not go to the cross. But we see in verse 11 that his heart was set on it. You know, he replies to Peter, "Put your sword back into its sheath. Shall I not drink from the cup of suffering the Father has given me?" He was committed to this. He knew this was what he was supposed to do, and he was going to do it for us. He was going to do it because he loved us. That's the message we see over and over again in the week that leads up to Jesus' crucifixion, but also especially in these 24 hours that lead up to the crucifixion. Just how much Jesus loved us, how much he was willing to go through because he loved us and he wanted a relationship with us. So that's the message to take away from this. His arrest was his willingness and his desire to lay it all down for us. His willingness and his desire to go to the cross for our sins so that we would have relationship with him. And he does all of that while still proclaiming his divinity and who he is. Like, I am God, like, right? I am he. He is God. He loves us. He was longing to go to that cross so that we could be forgiven of our sins and have a relationship with him. So I don't have any questions for you this morning, but I do want you guys to pray about a few things. This is Holy Week. It's the week that leads up. It's the week that the church celebrates the death and resurrection of Jesus. And I want you guys to spend some time this morning asking the Lord to reveal areas in your heart where you are holding on to unforgiveness for others. I want you to take 2 to 3 minutes and really search your heart and begin to forgive those that you haven't forgiven. I want you guys to start off this week, but I want you guys to go forward from this week with a pure heart and full love for those around us. And I think it's really important that we start off this week with repenting and drawing close to Jesus that way. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you're having a great day. As always, if you liked the video, please drop us a like. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please click up here. And if you haven't watched the last couple days videos, please click up here. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.